Giannis Antetokounmpo is arguably the single most destructive force in the NBA today in terms of the way he manhandles his opponents and the way he dominates the game on both ends of the floor. But despite how obvious this is, the guys from the media are still able to find ways to disrespect him time and time again, just like what Colin Cowherd did here on his take back in the 2021 playoffs.
I don't have Giannis in my top 10 most valuable. I'll give you my list. Tell me where I'm wrong. Where's Giannis on this? Where do you want me to put Giannis? And I'm not anti-Giannis, but where do you want me to put him in terms of value? Late in games, none of these players late in games I feel are a liability. Giannis is.
Well, let's just try to analyze this one real quick. So basically, Colin was saying that he's got no spot for Giannis because he's not as valuable as them. Like, come on, this is probably the most inaccurate and senseless take I ever heard. See, it takes about a 5-second search on Google to conclude that this guy is telling a bunch of lies, because Giannis just plowed through most of the names on that list. He eliminated the big three of Durant, Kyrie, and Harden in the second round, destroying Trae Young and the Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and ultimately dominated both CP3 and Devin Booker in 6 games in the NBA Finals to win the chip. If my math serves me right, that's already 6 players he mentioned in that list, which he considered top 10 players. I mean, Giannis knocked them down one by one, but despite this, Colin still managed to cross him out of his personal list, pretending that a player as dominant as him didn't exist at all at that time. Now, it was not only Colin who had something to say about Giannis, because right after the Bucks won Game 4 of the 2021 Finals, Big Perk fired some subtle shots at Giannis, which went something like this.
Well, Molly, I've been waiting on this moment all series long, right? For Game 4, like last night, when it comes down to a possession-by-possession game, when it matters the most, who you put your money on? Money-making Middleton, the Batman, the closer, the guy that's going to get you those buckets, the guy that embraces that moment. And the world knows it. Giannis knows it. Stephen A. knows it. And Max knows it, right?
Wait, whoa, hold it right there. Did Perk just call Middleton Batman? I mean, sure, Middleton's 40-point contribution in Game 4 was the big reason why they won that game. But if you take a look back at Games 2 and 3, Giannis actually put up back-to-back 40-point double-doubles, while Middleton, the guy Perk called Batman, was bricking shots left and right as he only had 11 points in Game 2 and 18 in Game 3. But see, no one noticed it because the media zipped their mouths on this one. And as much as Perk wants to push the narrative that Middleton is the Batman, he seems to not care at all when JJ Redick asked him about it.
I mean, everybody wants to be the guy, but sometimes it's okay not being the guy.
The disrespect given to Giannis by these suit and tie folks have been going on for quite some time now. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how Giannis exposed these so-called analysts and proved them wrong with their crazy takes. Anyway, one of the talking heads who never hides his disdain for Giannis is Stephen A. Smith. 2 seasons ago, there was a hot debate going around as to who was better between Giannis and KD. And as a self-confessed KD fanboy, Stephen A. didn't hold back in saying that his brother KD is way better than Giannis, particularly emphasizing that the Greek freak wasn't as skillful as him, so to speak.
But when we talk about skills and what a brother brings to the table, this dude ain't on KD's level. I don't want to hear that. He's not Kevin Durant.
Well,
let's stop that right now. Give a damn what you saw last night. He's not better than Kevin Durant.
Now, just to put a bit more context on his take, Stephen A. said those words right after Giannis won the championship. I mean, the lack of disrespect was just oozing here. Like, he came on TV next morning and all of a sudden just completely forgot that Giannis dropped a 50-piece in Game 6 the night before.
Monty Williams says Mikal Bridges running the floor. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo.
It's too much hand holding on to the ball.
The spin move, the finish. Once again, Booker on the drive, left-handed shot blocked Antetokounmpo. Middleton inside, nice entry pass, and the slap.
It's crazy to think that these people are willing to ignore facts and continuously move the goalpost, just to avoid giving credit where credit is due. Anyway, on second thought, I actually kinda agree with Stephen A. when he said that KD was not on the same level as Giannis. Because the last time I checked, Giannis never joined a 73-win team with a bunch of superstars in it just to win a championship. And this was exactly how Max Kellerman fired back at him.
KD has more skills, but you know what KD hasn't done? KD hasn't shown that he could take a team that's just in the mix, not a dominant team, and win a championship. Giannis just did. Giannis just did that.
Aside from the eye test, the numbers also backed up that Giannis wasn't inferior to KD as opposed to what Stephen A said. See, throughout all their matchups during the 2020-21 season, Giannis had better stats across the board except for his three-point percentage. And if you take a look back at their head-to-head comparison in the last 4 seasons, Giannis completely owned KD, not just in terms of stats, but also in terms of overall wins, whether he was playing in Brooklyn or in Phoenix. Now, despite all the numbers that I just laid out here, there are still Giannis haters out there who can't seem to move on and accept the fact that Giannis is better than KD, one of which is Skip Bayless. I mean, during the 2021 playoffs, both the Greek Freak and Durantula had a duel for the ages in the Eastern Conference Finals, which all boiled down to a Game 7.
They're on defense, doing a good job. Alley-oop pass for you. Antetokounmpo with the quick move to beat the Holiday. Got the step, sets it up for Giannis. Putting moves on Jeff Green and score for the Bucks. Antetokounmpo turns, flips it, and it carries in.
The game was an instant classic that went down to the wire with both of them having a masterclass type of performance. Despite KD dropping 48 points along with 9 rebounds and 6 assists, Giannis and the Bucks grabbed the W by having a 40-point double-double along with 5 dimes to advance to the next round. Now here's where Skip's wild trolling comes into play. Despite the outcome of the game, Skip had the gall to come up with a BS reason just to defend his boy KD.
Okay, so the point is, we get to overtime, and Kevin Durant is clearly, absolutely gassed.
This wasn't new if you're following Skip. I mean, the dude has a history of having a double standard when it comes to takes like this, and he would often give a pass to the players that he personally likes, such as Kawhi and KD, but not to players that he heavily despises, such as LeBron and Giannis. But anyway, Shannon was too sharp for this. No pun intended, and he was having none of Skip's skewed reasoning as he just ripped him apart in front of live TV.
No. Michael Jordan would never be gassed. Kobe Bryant would never be gassed. You told me superstars can't be gassed because I've said that about LeBron, and you said it can't be. So no, that can't be an excuse. Try again.
Now, while the KD-Giannis debate is kind of worth listening to because to some degree, they're both on the same level, this next take is absolute trash and downright blasphemous. For the nth time, Stephen A can't accept the fact that Giannis is about to take over the league after he won the chip. And so he suited up, went to ESPN studio, sat in front of the camera, and said with a straight face, he would pick Ja Morant over Giannis any time of the day.
Ja Morant. There's an unknown element about Ja Morant that can elevate you to a point where you're saying, like, everybody move the hell out the way. This brother has arrived.
Oh, I agree.
It's possible that come playoff time, we might be saying that about this brother.
But
I don't know if you have an answer for Ja Morant. I don't know if you have an answer.
I mean, I totally get why Stephen A was super hyped about Ja Morant. When he's healthy, he's easily one of the most entertaining players to watch. He's an attraction. He puts people on the edge of their seats. But see, around the time he said that, Ja only had 1 All-Star badge under his name. And aside from that, he was also named Rookie of the Year as well as Most Improved Player of the Year. But that was it. On the other hand, Giannis was an NBA champion who won Finals MVP and regular season MVP twice. On top of that, he was a 6-time All-Star, a Defensive Player of the Year, and was a member of the 75th anniversary team during the time when Stephen A made that argument. I mean, what in the hell was Stephen A thinking when he made that take? And on his take where he said Ja would dominate the playoffs and the NBA would not have an answer for him. Well, apparently the NBA did, as Steph and his Bay Area buddies schooled Ja in 6 games and booted him out of the Western semifinals. And another thing, when Stephen A said,
But Ja Morant, there's an unknown element.
Well, I don't know what unknown element Stephen A was alluding to, but if there's any element related to Ja, then that's the element of surprise. Because we have no idea what he's gonna do next.
It's not who I am. I don't condone any type of violence, but I take full responsibility for my actions.
3 weeks later.
Stephen A has already made a fool of himself multiple times with his ridiculous takes about Giannis. But aside from Stephen A, there's actually one guy that hates Giannis more than anything in this world. And the guy I'm talking about is Ryan Hollins. Hollins is a former player-turned-analyst who thinks that he knows a lot about basketball simply because he played in the NBA. And there was one time where he took a shot at Giannis saying,
I remember somebody talking about how Giannis was going to dunk his way through the playoffs and yada, yada, yada. Listen, this man is right now, he's the most overrated in basketball.
Well, he actually did exactly that because
2 years later.
Now, aside from calling Giannis overrated, Hollins also doubled down on his hate when he said that he's not the true MVP back in 2019. Harden MVP, not Giannis.
First off, I want to congratulate Giannis because those believe that I've been incredibly hard on him through the whole season. But unfortunately, no, they got it wrong. He was not the MVP of the NBA. I do not know how it was not James Harden. If I'm going to think about an MVP, I'm thinking about value. I'm not thinking about Chris Middleton taking over the games at the end. I'm not thinking about Bledsoe. I'm not just talking about physical dominance. I'm talking about complete dominance and value and need. And yes, he brings you all the little things. He blocks shots. He gets steals. He rebounds. He gets dirty. He does all the little things. But if I take Giannis off that team, it's still a decent team. It's a solid team.
I mean, although Harden was far better offensively, Giannis brought all the little things, just like what Hollins said. And if you take a look at the numbers further, Giannis actually dominated Harden as far as advanced stats were concerned. On top of this, the Bucks were a higher speed team than the Rockets in that particular season, so I didn't really get where Hollins was coming from when he said his piece. Anyway, what's your take on this? Why does the media hate Giannis so much? Let me know your thoughts on this by putting your comments down below. If you enjoyed this video on the media and their ridiculous takes, we're sure you'll love this next one. Go ahead and click it, it's free.